Thanks for checking out Algebra Step by Step. One thing that I really like about our course is our quizzes. They align perfectly with what you've done previously. So if you went through lesson 1 here, you saw the overview, you did the lesson, you did the online practice, you took time to do the mastery problems. So now you're ready for the quiz. The quiz is just like all the work prior to it. If you're a parent or even a student, most people, if not everybody, they've gone through a course to where they listened to the lesson, they did the homework, they did the practice, then they took the quiz or test, and it was nothing like what they saw. You will not get that frustration in Algebra Step by Step, because everything we do here is aligned. We spend a lot of time making sure that there's no twists, there's no turns that we hadn't covered prior to a quiz or a test. So in this quiz here, it's PEMDAS. The topic's covered, and we tell you what we're covering here. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So now we're going to just see how well you know it. Before you take the quiz, make sure that you know it. If you need to go back and do some more online practice, do that. If you need to rewatch the video, do it. There's no real time limit. I mean, deadlines for a lot of times are just arbitrary. And if you spend more time on the front end in a math course and you get those fundamentals and that foundation laid, the more advanced topics, a lot more easier. You've got two options on taking the quiz. You can click the start button here. It's going to pull it up. You can take it inside the course. If you're on a Chromebook or a phone, you may want a bigger version, so you click on the full screen link. It brings you to the website where it's hosted, and you can do the full screen. And we're just going to go through all the questions here just to show you that there's no twists, there's no turns. It's just straightforward algebra based on what you are expected to learn. So what's the correct acronym for the order of operations? Well, it's PEMDAS. It's in the title of the lesson. In the lesson, we talk about same level operations. There's two sets of operations that are the same level. According to our lesson, it was addition and subtraction, multiplication and division. Next, what PEMDAS operations come first with the same level of operations? In the video, we said that you do same level of operations, the same direction you read, which is from left to right. So left to right, or the left operation. So why is PEMDAS critical? Well, it's critical because we want to make sure that we get the right answer. So the same people working the same problem is going to get the same answer, which is the beauty of mathematics. There's always a right answer. So when working with multiple grouping symbols, where do we start? The lesson said start with the innermost symbol. So notice the first questions here, they're just reviewing the concepts, the rules, the things that we must know in order to be successful. Then we get into solving problems. So we're going to simplify this problem. We're going to add 4 and 6, because that's within our parentheses. We're going to take that sum and we're going to multiply it by 2. Well, 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. And notice you should be able to do that problem without a calculator. And I want you to be able to do these problems without a calculator because we want to develop your number sense. We want to develop your kids' number sense, because anybody can take a picture of this with photo math and come up with 20. And there's no learning there. We're not better people for using an app. We become better people and become better thinkers and problem solving by learning the math. Now we're going to simplify 4 plus 6 times 2. So we're going to do 6 times 2 first. 6 times 2 is 12. Then we're going to add 4 to 12 to get 16. Now, how's the problem 4 plus 6 within parentheses times 2 different from 4 plus 6 times 2? So here's a math problem that you can't put into photo math. Yeah, you could probably put that in AI and get the right answer. But AI telling you something is different than you knowing something. We want your kids to know stuff. Because smart people know stuff. Anybody can just plug something into a computer, an AI machine, a phone, app, and get an answer. Not anybody actually knows the stuff. So we want to know the stuff because that's more valuable. But anyways, the grouping symbols, the first problem, they tell us to add before multiplying. So we're going to click answer choice C. So what's the first step in solving the following problem? 4 times 8 plus 3 squared. So once again, this problem is testing our understanding of PEMDAS, and we're not necessarily concerned about getting the right answer at this point because we're more concerned about the process. And I'm a big fan of the process should come before the product, because if you understand the process, the product or your answer is always going to be correct. Well, the first thing we want to do is parentheses, and there's no parentheses, so we're going to move on to exponents, which is given to us via the caret symbol. The caret symbol is used for exponents. So we're going to square 3. Next, what's the second step in 4 times 8 plus 3 squared? Well, the second step is multiplying 4 and 8. Oh, click the wrong answer. It's okay, I'm going to go back and click the right answer. You always want to double check your work. Now we're going to simplify. Well, we know 3 squared is 9. We know 4 times 8 is 32. 32 plus 9 is 41. Once again, you should not need a calculator for this problem, or any of these problems, really. Now we're going to simplify 8 times 4 minus 4. Then we're going to add that to 2 times 3 minus 6. So we're doing PEMDAS. 4 minus 4 is 0. We're going to multiply 0 and 8 to get 0. Next, we're moving on to the 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. So we're going to click 0. Now we've got 16 divided by 3 plus 5. Well, 3 plus 5 is 8. 16 divided by 8 is 2. Next problem, we got 8 plus the quantity of 2 plus 2 cubed divided by 8. So we're starting with 2 plus 2, which is 4. We're going to cube 4, which means we're going to multiply 4 by itself 3 times. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So we're going to take 64 divided by 8 to give us 8, and then we're going to add 8 to 8 to get 16. Next problem, looks like we're on 16 here. We're going to do 2 times 2 plus 3 times whatever 4 minus 2 is. Well, 4 minus 2 is 2. And we have 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 plus 6 is 10. Now we're going to simplify. In this problem, if you put it in a calculator, depending on the calculator, there's a wrong answer listed here. And you got to read your calculator's owner manuals, which nobody does. But anyways, you got 3 plus whatever 3 plus 2 minus 2 is. Within parentheses, we're going to take that quantity and multiply it by 4. Well, 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. So now we got 3 squared minus 2. Well, 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. Now we're going to simplify 4 plus 5 plus 6 minus 5. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 minus 5 is 10. Now we're going to add 2 and 2, and we're going to square that. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Last problem, we're going to divide 8 by 4. 8 by 4 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So notice there's no negative numbers because we have not worked with negative numbers in this course yet. We will work with negative numbers, and they will start showing up, and then later we'll work with fractions and negative fractions. But we only add one thing at a time because, once again, we're doing algebra step by step. So once you've answered all the questions, my recommendation and the recommendation of every math teacher in the history of the world is to go back and double check your work. So you can do that by clicking on the next or previous button. Once you double check your answers, you feel good about them, click submit. We'll see what our score is. Ooh, got 100. You may not get 100. It's okay. Click report. Scroll down. It will identify the questions you got wrong because it'll be red with an X. And what a good math student will do is you'll look at that answer or that problem and you'll figure out what you did wrong. Because that's where a lot of the learning comes. It's like being reflective and thinking about what we did wrong and then go back and fix it. Once you do that, you go back and you retake the quiz and you do it until you get a passing score. I think you should get 100 on all of them. But really, if you're new to algebra and you're developing the skill, I would say anywhere from 70 to 80% means you're good enough to move on to the next lesson. But the higher the score is and the higher your understanding is in whatever lesson you're on, the easier that next lesson is going to be. If you found the lesson on PEMDAS easy, if you keep going through the course and you keep learning the material, when you get to quadratics, the last thing in our course, you'll find that quadratics are actually easy. So this is Algebra Step by Step. Let me know what you think.